The obstacle is the way, turn every setback into fuel. Marcus Aurelius. Marcus Aurelius ruled the largest empire on earth, and he still wrote one of the strangest sentences a powerful man has ever written. He said the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Read that again. The thing blocking you is not separate from your path. It is your path. And if that sounds like a trick of words, stay with me, because the most practical philosophy ever devised is hiding inside it. Think about how you normally treat an obstacle. Something goes wrong. A door closes. And instantly your mind files it under disaster. You lose an hour, a deal, a relationship, and along with it you lose your composure. But Marcus was not offering comfort. He was describing a mechanism. Fire does not merely survive what you throw into it. Fire consumes obstacles and grows brighter because of them. He asked whether you could become like that. Whether the very things designed to stop you could become the fuel that moves you forward. The Stoics gave us 3 disciplines, and every one of them is really a way of handling what blocks your path. The first is the discipline of perception. See the obstacle accurately. Not the story your fear writes on top of it, but the plain fact of what happened. A rejection is a rejection. It is not proof that you are worthless. The panic is optional, and it is added by you. The second is the discipline of action. Once you see clearly, you move on what you can actually affect. Not the whole mountain. The next step. Marcus reminded himself constantly that he could only ever do the task in front of him, and that this was enough. You cannot fix a ruined year in an afternoon, but you can do one honest thing today. The third is the discipline of will. Some obstacles cannot be moved. Illness comes. People die. Time runs out. Here the Stoics ask something harder than optimism. They ask you to endure what you cannot change, and to let it shape you rather than break you. The will is where you decide what an unchangeable event will mean. That decision is always yours. So how do you actually do this when your own life caves in? It is easy to admire this philosophy from a distance and forget it the moment real pain arrives. So let me give you the stages. Not theory. A sequence you can run the next time something goes wrong, step by step, when your hands are shaking and your mind is already halfway to panic. The first stage. Name what actually happened. When a setback hits, your mind floods with interpretation before you have even seen the facts. Say your business closed. Notice what the mind does. It does not say the business closed. It says I am a failure, I have wasted everything, I will never recover. None of that is fact. The fact is narrow. A company stopped operating on a certain date. Marcus practiced stripping events down to their bare description, seeing them as they are and nothing more. So write the plain sentence. What is the observable event, with no adjectives, no forecast of the future, no verdict on your worth? You will almost always find that the real event is smaller and more manageable than the cloud of dread surrounding it. You cannot work on a catastrophe. You can work on a fact. The second stage. Strip the catastrophe language. Listen to the words you are using. Ruined. Destroyed. Disaster. Never. Always. These are not descriptions. They are amplifiers, and they multiply the pain far beyond the event itself. The Stoics understood that we are disturbed not by things but by our judgments about things. A delay is a delay. The flight is grounded. But say it is a nightmare and your body responds to a nightmare. Take the same rejection letter and speak it in flat, factual terms. Someone chose another candidate. That is all that occurred. Now feel how differently your body holds it. The illness did not become a death sentence because a doctor was cruel. It became one because your language turned a diagnosis into an ending. Downgrade the words, and you downgrade the suffering that was never in the event to begin with. Precision is a form of mercy you give yourself. The third stage. Find the one action available today. Despair loves scale. It shows you the entire wreckage at once so you feel too small to begin. The Stoic answer is to shrink the frame until action becomes possible. You do not need to rebuild the whole business. What is one call you could make this afternoon? After the diagnosis, you cannot cure yourself by willpower, but you can book the next appointment. One small, doable action breaks the spell of helplessness, because a person taking action is no longer purely a victim of circumstance. Marcus told himself to concentrate on the present task with full seriousness, as if it were the only thing that mattered, because in that moment it was. Momentum does not arrive before you move. It arrives because you moved. Do the small thing, and the next small thing appears. The fourth stage. Treat the obstacle as training you did not choose. No one signs up for hardship, yet the Stoics insisted that difficulty is precisely where character is built. Seneca compared us to soldiers and athletes who are made strong by the very things they would rather avoid. The failed venture taught you what you never learned during success. The illness taught you patience you could not fake. The delay forced a stillness you would never have chosen. Ask a different question. Not why is this happening to me, but what is this making me capable of? The obstacle becomes a gymnasium. The resistance is the weight, and weight is how strength is grown. You did not pick this trainer, and the trainer is brutal, but you can still walk out of the room stronger than you walked in. That reframe alone changes what the pain is doing to you. The fifth stage. Look for the door the closed one opened. When one path shuts, attention narrows to the loss, and you stare at the closed door long after it has locked. Meanwhile, options are quietly opening elsewhere. The job that fell through frees the time for the work you truly wanted. The relationship that ended returns you to yourself. The Stoics believe the universe is rational and interconnected, that events fit together in ways we cannot see from inside them. You do not have to believe in fate to use this. Just make it a discipline to ask, honestly, what this closure now makes possible. Many people can trace their best chapter back to a rejection that felt like the end at the time. The company that would not hire them pushed them to start their own. The city that rejected them held the life they were meant to leave. The door did not close on your life. It closed on one version of it, and turned you to face a door you had not noticed was standing open the whole time. The sixth stage. Keep the lesson and drop the resentment. This is the final and hardest step. When you come through a hardship, you carry two things away. The lesson and the grudge. The lesson makes you wiser. The grudge only makes you heavier, and you drag it into every room you enter next. Marcus, betrayed and burdened by ungrateful people, reminded himself each morning not to let their behavior poison his own soul. He kept what the experience taught him and refused to keep the bitterness. So take the wisdom the setback earned you, and set the resentment down. Resentment is paying rent to an event that is already over. The obstacle already took your time. Do not let it take your peace as well by living in your mind for years after it ended. So return to what Marcus wrote. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. He was not telling you obstacles are pleasant. He was telling you they are usable. The setback in front of you right now, the one you have been dreading, contains the raw material for exactly the strength you have been lacking. You do not get to choose whether obstacles come. They will come. You only get to choose whether they bury you or build you. See it clearly. Act on what you can. Endure what you must. And let the thing that was meant to stop you become the very road you walk forward on.